Hello and welcome to a brand new episode of CNB Bazaar Buzz here on the NDTV network, and as always we've got a packed show for you. We've got two major comparison tests and two stories which are very close to my heart: electric mobility and classic cars. Take a look. On today's episode, the Baleno takes on the Hyundai i20 facelift. The TVS RR310 takes on an unlikely rival. And we take a look at some classic MGs. So let's start with that first major comparison, the Baleno versus the i20 facelift. Now, if you're in a market for a premium hatchback, the Maruti makes a lot of sense, but now the Hyundai has been upgraded, updated, and has some changes to it. So, does it still have the benchmark of the segment title, or is it even better now? I take a closer look. While most Indian car buyers step up from their first small hatchback to a traditional sedan or now an SUV, there is still a huge percentage of buyers who prefer a bigger, better hatchback. No wonder then that the premium hatchback segment in India is what everyone wants a piece of the pie of. Now both these cars are very relevant to Indian audiences, and both are very popular too. The Baleno and the i20 are both premium hatchbacks, both under 4 meters, and both the most relevant cars in that particular segment, both the highest sellers too. The Baleno of course outsells the i20 every month because it is a Maruti, but the i20's now had a facelift. Now in the past, when we've put these cars up against each other, the i20 has come out on top. So is the facelift now even better, or has it sort of just stayed the same? Well, for starters, it does have this new look going about it, that whole Hyundai family look. So you do have this big grille on the bottom here, and there are now similarities between the two cars. Now the i20 did have a complaint in the past, it didn't look as sporty as the Baleno did. That has changed. You see this little chink on the bumper of the Baleno here that makes it look really sporty and edgy. Hyundai has now replicated that on the i20's bumper too, and I think this is actually rather better looking now than the Baleno is. And that's before you get to the big changes that Hyundai has done to the rear. New tailgate, new tail lamps, and a new number plate mounting position make it a great package, especially in one of those brighter orange colors. On the inside, the comparison between the Baleno and the i20 are smaller. Both get a large touchscreen, Apple CarPlay, Android Auto and navigation, but the Hyundai is a little better built, and the beige and grey cloth interior still makes it appear a lot more premium as compared to the grey and black on the Baleno. Both cars are equally spacious though, up front, at the rear, and when you compare boot storage space. But since quality is as important as features, this is another win for the i20. Both the Hyundai and the Baleno in petrol form get a 1.2-litre engine, and apart from the Baleno getting 21.4 km per litre versus the i20's 19.8, both are surprisingly similar on paper. Both these cars make 115 Nm of peak torque, and while the i20 makes 82 bhp, the Baleno has one extra horsey at 83 bhp. Now there is this familiarity with the Maruti products and the 1.2-litre engine which the Baleno has in spades. It is still, I believe, the nicer car to drive amongst the two, especially considering the fact that the steering definitely feels a lot better in terms of feedback. Although if you are a city driver, if you're going to drive around in start-stop traffic every day, the i20 is definitely the easier car to drive. But for me, I prefer something slightly sportier, slightly something with a little more feedback, and that's where the Baleno definitely is the winner. In terms of the engine too, I think the Baleno's 1.2-litre 4-cylinder engine definitely performs a little bit better in terms of feedback, and it has that lovely mid-range and top-range power which the Hyundai just seems to lack a little bit. Now while the Baleno has all those things going for it, the i20 has one big thing in its favor too. It's always been the easier car to drive, and contrary to what everybody thinks, it's only us crazy people who want steering feedback and suspension geometry, etc. A nice revvy engine. Most people just want to get in their car in the morning, get to work, unnecessarily get stuck in traffic sadly, and have the same sort of cycle repeat again and again. And for that, the i20 is actually a better car. Yes, it does have slightly less steering feedback than the Baleno, but sometimes all you want is an easier car to drive, and that is what the i20 is and continues to be even after the facelift. And that is what has attracted a lot of customers to this Hyundai as compared to something like maybe a Volkswagen Polo, for example. Of course, both these cars also get a diesel option. The 1.3 on the Baleno makes 74 horsepower and 190 Newton meters of torque, and the 1.4 on the i20 makes 89 bhp and 220 Newton meters of torque. The Baleno also gets a CVT automatic option on the petrol, but the i20 on the other hand does not get an automatic just yet. The Baleno and the i20 both get ABS as standard, and while the Baleno gets just 2 airbags on all its models, the i20 also offers a 6th airbag option on the top of the line variants. Comparing prices for the petrol manual, the i20 is priced between 5,35,000 rupees and 7,90,000 rupees, while the Baleno also starts at 5,35,000 rupees for the base model Sigma, while the top spec Alpha comes in at 7,35,000 rupees, nearly 55,000 rupees cheaper than the Hyundai. Of course, this is for the standard 1.2 petrol and not for the turbocharged RS models. But while the Maruti Suzuki Baleno wins on performance and price, the i20 wins on design, both for the exterior and interior, and more importantly, quality. And that means it continues to be our benchmark for this segment and the winner of this premium hatchback comparison. It is still the best car in its class. So there you have it, the i20 still the king of the hill when it comes to the premium hatchback segment, even though the Baleno might probably outsell it in the showrooms. And now, something that's really close to my heart, classic cars. Now, MG, as we all know, is coming to India in 2019 with a new SUV, but before that, it's trying to get all its current MG India owners on one platform, that is the MG Car Club. Now, Kinshuk was there to find out more.
Morris Garage or MG Motor has grand plans for India. But since the Chinese-owned British company still has some time before it starts selling its cars in India, and it is keen on building up a brand image first. After all, it is an automaker with rich heritage and motorsport and classic cars. And it is the latter that MG Motor wants to cash in within the country. Classic cars. MG has launched the MG Car Club for owners of MG Classic cars. MG estimates that there are over 400 MG Classic and Vintage cars in India. The MG Car Club was first originally started in 1930 in the UK by the MG Motor Company, and all owners of MG cars, old and new, are entitled to be members.
Today we have Adam and Jeff all the way from UK, and we're actually, I won't say launching, but we are bringing in the MGCC Car Club, which is MG Car Club, to India. Today it's just about meet and greet. We've invited, of course, you and a lot of other friends from media and influencers, but a lot of owners who've come. So we have Mr. Anand, we have Madan Mohan, we have Himmat and Christine. So Mr. Madan Mohan is actually very instrumental for MG because he's really helped us get connected to the owners. And there's one thing we want to talk about is MG is all about connected experiences. So that's the whole idea of bringing everybody together here and meeting our classic owners. I think they're the really pulse of the brand. So that's the intent.
MG Motors regards this as an important base of enthusiasts, and in a bid to familiarize MG with Indian customers, MG organized a get-together for MG Classic car owners as they try and get more and more people to know about the brand and the legacy of MG in the country. MG Motor India has already got in touch with quite a few owners and has set up a Facebook page where they can connect online and also register with the company. MG Motor India will also organize a host of experiential events for the MG Classic car owners.
I think the strength of people here in India will be the biggest strength of the MG Car Club. We specialise in creating experiences for MG drivers. So we organise an event at Silverstone every June called MG Live, which is the biggest MG event in the world, and we've been doing that for 68 years. We've got people in the club that have met their wives, their husbands, they've got married, they've had children. Those children have then become members of the car club, all through those experiences that the car club creates. And I think here in India you can have those same sort of experiences and bring together the people that own these classic cars with the people that are going to buy the new cars. So I think there's a really exciting opportunity to bring lots of different people together, and it's the people that make the club tick. Without the people there would be no club.
MG will launch its first car in India in 2019, and yes, it will be an SUV. The SUV will be powered by the same 2-litre diesel engine that powers the Jeep Compass and will also get a petrol option. MG is also actively looking at alternative and electric powertrains for the Indian market.
Now for that, I am properly jealous. Those MGs, those bright, gleaming, chrome-filled MGs are quite pretty on any given day. We're going to go on a short break now, but we're going to be back with that second comparison of the day and some more news on the electric mobility segment. So stay tuned for that.